make introductions.
Oh, well, we're recording right now, so
All right.
hopped right into it. We've got 40 minutes because I'm too cheap to get Zoom Pro. We're back. Our sixth Getting Drunk episode. I know we told the fans that we would have a new name for our podcast next time we did this, and we do not. So Getting Drunk number 6 it is. Even though we're not really getting drunk. I'm going to have a few beers just because it's, it's called Getting Drunk. So I feel like I have to have some beer. So
you got to have at least one beer.
So I'm going to go ahead and crack me a little Modelo. The official beer of the UFC and San Antonio, Texas. So
and the Bonfire Briefing Podcast.
It is. Actually, they have to sponsor me first. They have to send me some money first. Until then, I'll drink whatever beer I please, but it will probably be a Modelo.
It's the unofficial beer. There we go.
Very unofficial. Now, if they wanted to send me some money, or even better, some Modelo, that would be great.
Yeah, fuck it, just send Modelo.
Actually, both would be tremendous. You don't have to pick one or the other. You could send me both. Modelo.
Yeah, don't stress so hard. Just send both.
Yeah, just send me both. Whatever. It's all good. I'll promote it. I mean, I'm kind of promoting it right now. I shouldn't. What I should promote is Geno Smith because he's balling out of control, or at least he was last time I turned on the game about 30 minutes ago. So
yeah, I'm thinking he's got. So I've talked about it to other people. I don't know if we've talked about it yet, but I think I like Geno Smith. He's been years as a backup. Like he's the best backup in the league. He's been the best backup in the league for a while, But like, I think he's. I mean, how many years has he been in the league? Like 11. I feel like he's due to actually, get his chance. Like, I don't know who else has been that old and gotten to do something, but I mean, he's all right.
I don't know that he's the best backup in the league. I'm not as high on Geno Smith as you are.
Who's the best backup in the league?
Well, see, I knew you were going to ask me that question. And I can't think of any backup quarterbacks.
But I mean, like there's guys who are like backups that like Jimmy Garoppolo's backing up Trey Lance right now. Like Jimmy Garoppolo's a starting quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo can get you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, I would have to. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see them all laid out. I think that there are definitely like younger quarterbacks that are in the backup position right now. Well, I'm a Packers fan, so I think about Jordan Love, right? Who, I mean, I would definitely take a chance on him being a starting quarterback before I would go pick up Geno Smith. But like when I think about Geno Smith, I think about Geno Smith in the mid 2010s when he was on the Jets, and maybe that's not fair to Geno Smith. But that is the last time he was a starting quarterback. So that's kind of what I've got.
Good, was he?
He was terrible.
But I mean, he was on the Jets.
Very true. Very true. And the Jets have gone through, a number of quarterbacks since him, and they still suck. So
Sam Darnold, trash. Who's that current guy?
Zach
Wilson ruining his career.
Yeah,
should leave as soon as he can.
Yeah, definitely should leave. I don't think, I don't know that he's not a good quarterback, but if he stays on the Jets, I'm going to think he is.
Like, he's going to miss like crucial years of development, and he could be like not getting beat up every single game by having a shitty team,
Yeah, he definitely deserves
better. Not to shit so hard on the Jets, but they are terrible.
They are terrible. There was a moment in time, like in the 2010s. I don't like early 2010s. I don't remember exactly when, but like the Titans and I think it was the Jets. It's like the Titans and the Jets were like the two worst teams in the league at that point. And like in that amount of time, the Titans have turned into, playoff contenders, and the Jets are still the Jets. So got to start pointing fingers at management at that point. I mean, you can't,
These are NFL teams, they shouldn't be that. I don't know. I mean, players got to want to play in certain locations, and I feel like that's also changing. Like Tennessee Titans are good because Tennessee's, a favorable state to live in. You know, the Bucks
Yeah.
are good. Tom Brady's like, fuck it, let me go to Florida. Let me get some DeSantis action. Let me just fucking not pay as much in taxes. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Let me get the fuck out of the Northeast,
Yeah.
where it snows half the year. It's like, I'd rather live in Tampa. Are you kidding me?
It's
You
like
know?
I'm like almost fucking 60, you know?
Yeah, it's like I'm thinking about retirement. Where else am I going to go? I mean, Florida, that's the state. I mean, Florida. Goddamn, Tom Brady's going to be able to just retire, and then he's already in the best state for that. He doesn't have to leave. He doesn't have to do nothing.
No, it's like the retirement state. It's great.
Yeah, and it is a good place to. Well, I mean, I don't know that I would want to live there, but a lot of people move there, so it must be a pretty good place to live for a lot of people. It's definitely better than a lot of other places. I mean, personally, we've gone back and forth about how awful a lot of other areas of the country are
Yeah.
to live in, of
Florida.
course.
Yeah, to live in. Florida, solid though.
Solid. I mean, it's
Shit.
not bottom of the list for me, but
Dude, we got 40 minutes. What other kind of things we need to cover? We've had some news happen. The Queen, rest in peace. New Liz Truss is, doing her thing. Some rapper just got shot.
yeah, PNB Rock. I was listening to some of him on the way over here, just out of respect. He got shot up at like a restaurant in L.A., I think.
Hanging out with the Queen right now. You know?
Yeah,
And fucking,
it's a hell of a party they got going on. The Queen and then PNB Rock.
I love the pictures. Anytime somebody dies, they put them with XXX 10, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah,
Yeah. They put the side by sides. The Queen one, it was good.
yeah. The Queen dying has taken up like a significant amount of my feed over the past couple of days, as you can imagine.
Well, 9/11 was yesterday, and that one took up a fair amount too. That was, you know,
It
it's
did,
important.
yeah. It
I was
was,
listening today. There's like generations of people now. Well, you barely, but like there's kids who were born like after. I mean, well, like obviously there's kids who are like drinking in bars now who were born after that shit. I
yeah.
guess. Yeah. Yeah,
No,
no,
I mean
for
there
sure.
definitely are. I mean, if they were, I mean, it's crazy. And we were talking about it the other day, how some people remember it around our age, you know, like because the cutoff is like between us. It's because like you remember it, but I do not.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people around our age that are like that, that just either they do or they don't. And I've had people make fun of me for not remembering it, which always
Me,
felt a
I've
little
made fun of
fair.
you.
How
Yeah.
how you
Yeah.
gonna make fun of me for not remembering something?
It's pretty significant, is why.
I
I
was
mean,
I was 4.
yeah, no.
What do you want
You
me
know,
to
you,
do? It wasn't at the
yeah,
top of my agenda at the time.
no.
I was concerned with like eating,
Yeah,
whatever
eating and
4-year-olds are
like
concerned with.
playing
Not,
games where you're like fucking shit
yeah,
is all around the
yeah,
house.
not shitting my pants.
Not, yeah.
I
That's
had,
actually a big one you're for. I feel like you're probably, I don't know, I've never had kids. You're probably like 6 months removed from shitting your pants. I hope I wouldn't shit my pants at 3.5. That seems a little old. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe though.
Seems like your
Could have been.
parents would want to put a stop to that pretty quickly. Because
Yeah,
like
like immediately.
it's one thing to clean up like a newborn baby shit, but like when your kid turns like 3, 4, 5, you get pretty damn tired of cleaning up
They
kid
start
shit, I
eating
bet.
solid foods and not just fucking pasty shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. they start having like real adult shits.
that's disgusting.
Yeah, this is. I
God
don't know
damn.
why we talked about shit in 2 out of our 6 podcasts. We talked about horse shit that one time,
That was the
and
opener. Yeah.
yeah, and Twitter wouldn't let me promote that episode because the tweet had the word shit in it, and they wouldn't let me promote it.
Oh, don't put that shit in the tweet.
Yeah, well, yeah, you got to leave the real vulgar stuff just on the audio file. In the tweet, you got to be a little cleaned up.
It's gotta be cleaned up. Shit. What other shit? So how do we get on to shit from there? The Queen,
I don't know.
uh,
Queen, R.I.P. I guess.
RIP, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Ah,
I feel like that's how a lot of Americans feel. Just R.I.P. I guess it's
like,
significant. I mean,
well, it's also weird to still have a fucking monarchy in 2022.
yeah, maybe that's a better route to go with it. Is how crazy it is that I mean, other monarchies exist in other countries. You know, there's some different ones, but like she's like, like
She's
the
the only
United.
thing giving. She's all that gives monarchies legitimacy. Legitimacy was her. It's all very symbolic and like I don't know. I mean, I guess there's other places. I don't know. There's nobody who like Japan's got one. Who else has one?
I think Thailand has one. Um, there some of them. I think Sweden has one. I think they have a king. One of them countries up there. I'm not
That
sure.
shit's so stupid. I'd
Yeah,
be pissed. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars. Americans don't like that. We fucking hate taxes.
yeah. Well, I mean, you just don't. You don't even think about other monarchies. You know what I mean? Like the Queen is the only one that even really comes to mind. It's like you can kind of ignore all the others, but I mean, it's 2022, and the United Kingdom is pretty significant, I would say, and like they still have a monarchy after all this time. And I know it's like mostly symbolic and everything like that, but it seems like at some point you would question why your taxpayer money is going to all of that nonsense.
I think now they're like, I mean, because she's been there since the fucking 1800s. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
she fucking may as well, like, I mean, I guess now is the time to dissolve it. And I feel like there's conversations being had about that. Like, do we need a monarchy? No. I mean, I like traditions, I think tradition's good. I'm a traditional person. But like, fucking, that's not a tradition I think is worth keeping around. That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just it's an archaic way of doing government. It doesn't really belong in the modern day. And then like that, this is how you get shit like, did you see the video of the guy heckling Prince Andrew?
No, what do you do?
Oh yeah, no, he was at they had a big thing today, and he shouted something like you're a disgusting man, Prince Andrew. You're a disgusting, just saying stuff like that. He used the word disgusting a lot, is what he would say. He didn't get like specific with it. And then of
He's the
course,
Epstein guy, right? He was,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And like security came over and took him away and everything like that. And they're literally like they pick him up by his arms, they're like dragging him. He was like, I didn't do nothing wrong. And he didn't do nothing wrong, you know?
He stated facts. Andrew is disgusting.
Yeah,
I
he's a
get him all
disgusting
confused
human
with
being.
Philip Andrew. What a bunch of dumb fucking names. Anyways, yeah, no, he's a sick animal, and yeah, no, call him what he is. I guess
Yeah.
there's a time and place, and that seemed like a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a time and place. It's everywhere, every time of day.
What if everybody? I mean, I don't know why everybody didn't just break out into chants at him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
Well, there were other people that were like yelling at him and shit. Like after he started doing it, they were like, get out of here, all that kind of shit. Like they were mad at him, and like I understand it's kind of a weird scenario to do it in, but he is a disgusting piece of shit. You know?
And like you don't get a lot of opportunities to call those kind of disgusting pieces of shit out. And we know he was doing bad shit. He could just go to the fucking island or the fucking resort, the fucking diddler resort. But he fucking not even diddler. They did the whole thing. They didn't just diddle. They fucking these people should be slaughtered.
The Diddler
But
Resort.
yeah, fucking
One star.
1 star. Yeah,
Not very good.
I mean, yeah, I vote 1 star, but they had a lot of return customers, so
They did,
which
yeah.
he was one of. So like, yeah, no, he needs put down. I mean, he needs can't say that on the podcast probably, but like he needs yeah, put down metaphorically speaking. Let's clarify. Fucking,
Oh
like
man, the Royal Guard going to be knocking on our door.
fuck the Royal Guard, dude. Fucking
Their big furry hats. What are you doing?
you red coat bitch.
Who are you
I hate that
protecting?
shit. They're also a tradition that needs to go. Like, why wear that dumb fucking hat all day? It's kind of silly. Yeah,
It is. It's very silly. I kind of like it, just because it's it's unique. They look
is what
goofy
it
as
is.
fuck walking around out there. I kind of like it. I don't know if
Yeah,
they wanted to abolish the monarchy, but let like those guys just continue to wander around aimlessly in uniform. I'd be okay with that.
yeah.
It's a nice hat. I should get me one. No, I shouldn't. I live in San Antonio. I don't need a big furry hat like that. I sweat plenty.
No, yeah, you probably don't need one of them things, but it would be a cool thing to own. Shit. What other news we got? Let's do Bolsonaro in Brazil.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let me figure out when their election is, actually, because I'm sure.
It's I think it's got to be soon. If it's not tomorrow, it's not Tuesday, isn't it?
Oh,
Is that
damn. Is it this
just an
Tuesday?
American thing? Is it this
Hold up,
Tuesday?
son. Damn. I mean, obviously, it's probably not, it's definitely not going to coincide with our elections. But for whatever reason, I was expecting it to be like next year. But no, it looks like it's October 2nd. So what, a little over 2 weeks away?
Yeah, it's not bad. That's good.
And I've actually, oh, damn, I thought I had the polling. I thought I found a website that had like polling and everything. Oh, I know I do. This is good. And I mean, for anyone who's not aware, I mean, the current guy, Bolsonaro, probably familiar with him, but if you're not familiar with his opponent is Lula, as they call him. And he is the former president of Brazil. He was president of Brazil during the 2000s.
He did a lot of like good reforms and shit that what's the thing that I think he like school lunches and shit. He did like a lot of shit for the people. He kind of fixed the economy and shit, you know. But he did some other stuff too. I'll let you explain that fun
Yeah,
shit.
I mean, I think maybe one thing to keep in mind is like how popular he is. Like you just hear, you hear that Brazil has an election going on, and people who keep up with politics know about Bolsonaro because he's wild, to say the least. But Lula is very popular in his own right in Brazil. I mean, they love him there. He was very popular before he got thrown in prison on a whole bunch of different. There were, there were corruption charges, there were money laundering charges. The trial was controversial. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be an expert on Brazilian politics, but he got thrown in prison for a little bit. And then, like their equivalent to the Supreme Court overturned his conviction. So he was released from prison a couple years back and decided that he would run for president again. And he's still very popular. He was popular while he was president. He was popular while he was going through all the corruption and money laundering charges, and he's popular now. And I have not looked at the polling data yet, but just from things that I've heard and read, there are a lot of people that are expecting Lula to win. And
yeah, it seems to be that Bolsonaro is preparing for the fucking stolen election defense.
Yeah, I mean he's doing what Trump did, right? I mean, for months and months leading up to the 2020 election, Trump, said that the election was going to be rigged, and he was preparing for the exact scenario that happened, him losing. And Bolsonaro is doing the exact same thing. He's laying the groundwork to be able to claim after the election that it was rigged, that it was stolen. And I mean, that's not good for a number of reasons, but like Bolsonaro is the type of guy to like not leave.
100%. And also like it was like, what was it? It was either 82 or 87 that like, I mean, I'm pretty sure the military was in charge of the country in one of those 2 years. Like they've had military be in charge as recently as then, and like they fucking love Bolsonaro, like they fucking like it. They're on his side. So like, yeah, there's no reason he doesn't stay around.
Well, I remember. God damn, these allergies messing me up. Or whatever it is.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's weed. We can say that on the podcast. It's fine.
Yeah.
Not that it's ever been a secret. We've recorded 6 of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Bolsonaro, I remember I think it was shortly after he got elected. Maybe I'm wrong, but he for sure was talking about like how much he would love for another military coup to happen again. Like it might have been sometime into his presidency, but I think it was like right after he got elected. He was like, "Yeah, that would be awesome." And I think we've talked about this personally, but Brazil has like they have like the ability for the military to overthrow the government written into their constitution.
Isn't
So
that cool? That's fucking
yeah,
badass.
they I forget over like what time range this stat that I saw was, but they average a military overthrow of their government like every 25 to 30 years. And I can't remember when the last one happened, but I do think they're overdue. So all of this to say, um, October 2nd might be pretty fucking interesting.
Should be a fun one. Yeah.
Let me try to find this polling. I've been looking. I've said I'm going to look for this polling like 5 times, and then I've not actually looked for it. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, I've definitely heard a lot of people talking about how they think Lula is going to win. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of these polls right now, and yeah, no, it looks like Lula has a very healthy lead.
I wonder what it's like to be somebody in fucking Brazil right now. Like, shit, if any Brazilians listen to this podcast, let us know and come on the show. You know,
Yeah, that would be dope. Actually, I would love to talk to somebody living in Brazil about this upcoming presidential election they have, or even after it happens. Like, just if some crazy shit does happen and you want to come on the show to talk about it, that would be fucking awesome. I'm looking at all these polls right now, and I've not seen a single poll yet that has Bolsonaro ahead. And he's down by like 10, 15 points in like all these polls.
that's no fucking good for
He
him.
is like, yeah, no, he is not ahead on any of these polls. I'm scrolling down tables full of polls from this year, polls from last year, everything. And actually, no, I stumbled upon some Bolsonaro polls, but they're old as fuck. I think they might be, yeah, they're literally from like early 2021.
It's crazy because he comes off as very popular. You know, I mean, I
Yeah.
thought he was popular for years now. I thought he was kind of like some of it's fake, but like, he's popular. Like, people seem to fucking respond when he speaks.
Yeah. He's,
Kind of like a Trump thing, like you thought over 50% of the population was into it.
yeah. Well, he's very, yeah. Well, I think if you're like we are, like you're Americans looking in, like, Bolsonaro is pretty authoritarian, and like the media covers him as they do other authoritarians. Like the media coverage of him here in the United States is very bad. So, you might assume if you're only looking at that he is also very unpopular. But like, you don't really know that. Just because a world leader is bad in your opinion doesn't mean that he's unpopular in their country. I mean, there are plenty of bad world leaders that get reelected
All the time.
yes. And like, he's very polarizing. So you would expect like, one chunk of the population to really not like him and then one chunk to really like him. And I mean, it does, just based on these polls, it does look like he has a solid like third of voters that back him. His support seems to be hovering around like 35%. So it seems like he's got a solid, third of voters that do like him,
Shit, that doesn't win though. That shit's no good.
Yeah, he's also not, I mean, like I never heard of Bolsonaro before he became president. Like I can't right now I can't tell you anything about him before he became president. But Lula was elected president in like 2003. So
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
Lula is someone who's been around and has been popular for a long time. Even if you just go based on when he was president to now, that's almost 20 years of him being like very popular in Brazil and being in the public eye and being president. He's done the job before. That probably helps.
Oh, that's a big thing. Yeah. Oh shit. Imagine if we don't have any 4-year presidents because do they have like term limits or did he just stay one term or what?
No, I think this would be Lula's third term. I don't know if they have term limits or not. This actually, let me use this Google machine I'm hooked up to.
That's good. You have that
Uh,
supercomputer in front of you.
yeah. No, and it's, let's see. Um, okay. So, yeah, president of Brazil serves a term of 4 years and may be reelected to a single consecutive term. However, this two-term limit is not for life. A former president who has served for 2 consecutive terms may run for the presidency again after at least one term has elapsed.
That's pretty cool. I
That
like
is
that.
interesting. That's super interesting. Huh.
Why not? You know, I don't see what's wrong with that.
Yeah, that's
Well, you just get
actually,
like a Russia kind of thing, like Putin, and then he steps down and he goes from prime minister to president for like a term, and then he goes back to prime minister or whatever, or
yeah.
whatever he did.
See, I don't know that you would get that in the States because we like to flip flop, you know? Like we like to go Republican for like 8 years and we like to go Democrat for 8 years. So like you could get like a Republican serves as president for 8 years, then you get a Democratic president, and then after the Democratic president's first term, that Republican president runs again for a third term. I
I
think
mean,
it'd be interesting.
it's kind of good. It's kind of about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a shit. I mean, I don't know. It's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
No.
I think when you have like no limits, like no term limits whatsoever, I think that's where you get into like tricky business. You know?
Yeah, I think. Well, you if you had multiple parties, it'd be much better to do the thing where you can like run again. But with just two parties, it seems like that middle term right there, you know, your first 2 terms and that third one right there, that it's way easier to have some kind of fucking corruption right there with just two parties.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be right.
I don't know what
Huh.
Brazil has, but it doesn't not seem corrupt there. You know.
Yeah, I don't know that they've got the best system around. Although, if things get too crazy, the military can just step in and say, fuck all you guys.
It is written into their constitution. That is great.
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that is the craziest thing. Cause like when a coup happens, and there have been some like over the past year, it makes, even if it's a country no one has ever heard of before, like it makes news just because it's a coup. Like
Yeah.
coups, like a government being overthrown is crazy. It's kind of how America got its start. Um, so like it
It's
makes the
yeah.
news and it's a wild thing to see happen. It's crazy that a country would like have that in have that option in the Constitution.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we can fall apart, and if we do, the military gets to take over. Like that is fucking scary. That you even acknowledge that you could fall apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, it's kind of like, it's kind of like a remedy for everything. It seems, like all the potential problems you can think of. The Brazil Constitution is like, don't even fucking worry. The military's got it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's a really interesting out.
It is stability though. It doesn't do anything for your fucking nation's stability. And if you're trying to become like a fucking, if the United States is like what your ideal situation would be, or China, or whoever it is that you fucking idolize, you know, it doesn't look good for that. But I don't think they give a fuck is the thing.
I think, well, I don't know. I'm sure some people
I don't
care,
know.
but I think you like, yeah, it's not good for stability. I think that's kind of key as to why I mean, there are other reasons some obvious reasons as to why it's a bad idea, but you don't want, like, your country has to be stable if it's going to be a major player on the world stage and become
Respected at
like,
all.
yeah,
Yeah.
it has to. I mean, if, like if America was having coups all the time, nobody would work with us.
No, not at
Why?
all.
Because you have no idea what's going to happen in, like next year or the year after that. Like stability is crucial, I think.
Yeah, and if you, what you want to do is you want to be at the point where you use just proxy nations, to do all your fighting for you, like the Ukraine thing right now. Kind of. That one, so I was listening to a take on that. I think we talked about it before, the spending and everything else.
Yeah.
It was a Republican guy actually who, you would think would be a little more conservative with the spending. They tend to lean that way. But he was like, no, absolutely not. It just saves us way more money. This investment now is nothing compared to the investment in the future that we would have to pay if they, took significant ground and took more countries and shit.
Yeah. I mean, that is definitely true. I mean, that's the big fear, right? Like, is that this would turn into some larger conflict. But if you can keep it contained in Ukraine, that does seem like the better option. I mean, the ideal thing would be for there not to be a war happening at all, but like we're not in that situation, And like
Yeah.
the war only affect or like the war only being in Ukraine is a lot better than the war being in like all of Eastern Europe.
It's also been coming for a while. They've been fighting there since like 2014, but like even before that, people were predicting that's like going to be the hot zone in the world. I mean, think about it, since World War II and shit. But they've been pushed back to this. I mean, that's where the NATO line is. That's of course going to be where some fucking conflict happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it did feel like it was inevitable. I mean, especially over the last couple of years. Because there was a period there after Crimea where it, felt like it died down some, or it wasn't in the news as much. But then when, Putin started like moving troops on the border and then he'd take them off the border and, he started doing stuff like that. Then people really started paying attention and, some of the stuff that was happening in like the international waters over there, like the Sea of Azov and, uh, that kind of stuff. It certainly felt like it was getting more serious,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
and it was, it did. It
Yeah.
got
It
very
was.
serious very fast. Turns out he that's the thing. He always did these like stunts, these little tricks, and he'd get the West all riled up, and and then everything would settle off, and then he'd do some other provocative shit, and but like this time, I feel like the incidences were closer together. They were varied, and like they were significant there. I mean, he was moving like six figures worth of troops on and off the border. I mean, that's some
Shit. Yeah.
significant troop movement.
All that just to fucking move and then get pushed back real fast. That shit sucks. I mean, for them, it's good for Ukraine. That was
Yeah,
ridiculous. What? There's better ways to handle things. But I guess, like I said, it's been coming.
yeah, and I mean, I feel like there's not really anything else to do when you have a world leader like Putin that is dead set on, you know, bringing back Greater Russia,
How do you
rebuilding the
think it's all
USSR.
gonna, based on like the latest news coming out of Ukraine, how do you think this is all gonna end? And when do you think it's gonna end?
Well, also, just before I say anything, I don't know if you can see the timer on your screen, but we've got about 6 minutes left.
We got six
Uh,
minutes. Okay, shit. No, we can probably need to touch on
yeah,
some other shit.
yeah. No, I mean, I really don't know how it's going to end. It's kind of hard for me to like even imagine an ending, like because you can't really see Putin conceding. Like what does Putin losing this war even look like? Like what gets him to stop? Is it an amount of money lost, amount of time spent, amount of soldiers killed?
Territory. You need
Te-
territory,
yeah,
but like
territory.
you're not gonna get any of those. That's the thing. They don't give a fuck. They have $13.5 billion worth of U.S. guns. You aren't getting shit. You're fucking fucked.
Yeah. So, like, best case scenario for Ukraine is that they continue to have the success that they've had recently with regaining land and pushing back, and then they eventually push Russia back into its own borders. They reclaim all of its land. What? And then, like, let's say the war ends. Like, what happens after that? What does Putin do after that? Like, such a humiliating defeat in Ukraine. It didn't capture any land. Maybe Crimea is liberated. Like what if he loses land, loses Crimea?
Yeah, that's the plan. I think that's what fucking Ukraine talks about. I don't know what's. I mean, I think at some point he has to use like a tactical nuke and start fucking really scaring people, getting the international community involved.
blowing it up into a bigger conflict, almost certainly.
That's got to be what you have to do.
Yeah, dragging other countries into it even more than they already are. You know, like at some point, like if Putin was to go past Ukraine and like invade Poland or whatever, insert whatever other country, at some point we'd have to put a stop to it. You can't just let him take over Eastern Europe, That's not
No.
really a thing you can allow to happen. But like obviously obviously for countries now, like him invading Ukraine was not like that was not the final straw. So what is one more country the final straw or two more? Or...
I think a lot of people were watching to see how the outcome goes, like who's going to take whose side, because like if China takes the side of Russia, which they have done, that's something. And then but like, does China want to take the side of somebody if it looks like they're going to fucking lose, And it's like, I don't know. I just worry you're going to think start to really unravel now that like they're getting pushback that shit they took all summer to gain, pushback within like a day.
Yeah. I mean, it's not looking good for him as of right now, September 12th. So I don't know how well or poorly that might age, but as of right now, Ukraine is doing well. Fuck Putin. We got about 3 minutes left if we want to.
Let's see.
We have anything else on the agenda? We'll get a new podcast name next time.
Shit, yeah, we're good. Fucking Josh Allen wins MVP or Bills win Super Bowl. Yes or no?
Oh, I'm calling it. Wait. MVP. I'll say no, just because it's too soon. But I said it the other day after they won. I texted you. I think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. And after watching week 1, I still believe it. I think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. Write it down. Make a note,
yeah,
everybody.
I think they're shit. I think everybody's. I think even fucking like what are they all Vegas odds and shit are favoring that too. I
Because
think
they
that's
look fucking awesome.
Well, everybody else just looks like shit.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's it. It's like the Bills came and just completely took care of business. I mean, beat the defending champs by 3 scores. Offense looked great.
Mid-season form or whatever they say,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, fucking, shit. They look good. I mean, offense, defense, everything looked good. Josh Allen looked great. And like, again, they did this to the Rams. They didn't do this to the Jets just to throw them under the bus one more time.
Fuck the Jets. Fuck the Jets. No, Jets fans, I guess you're okay. Fuck you too, though.
Yeah, they're cool. They've been through a lot. They don't need to, we don't have to make fun of them. Their team does that for them on a weekly basis.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck the Jets.
Shit. All right, yeah, let's fucking wrap it up. All right, thanks everybody for fucking tuning in. We will fucking, yeah, I mean, fucking.
We will do this again sometime. We'll do it again. Don't know when.
Yeah.
Probably just how we average about 2 weeks.
We had some tech issues on this one, but it's okay.
Dude,
who gives a fuck?
This is a very, very quick aside. Then we'll quit. But like, I don't know if you're looking at Zoom, but it says less than 1 minute. Like it gets rid of the timer and it just says less than 1 minute.
Oh,
as a podcast host, you freak out because you're like, when is this thing just going to shut off? Because it will just completely shut off everything.
Probably in the middle of one of these fucking sentences.
Yeah, that happened to me one time with somebody. I don't remember who. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember who. I was kind of hoping it would cut me off right there. That would have been nice.
That would be cool. All right, yeah, fucking peace out, everybody.
No, we're done. We're out.
All right.